Hey guys. So, if you didn't already know, I used FlipaClip a ton back in the day. It was my go-to software for anything animation. I created a bunch of animation memes, animation map parts, and just fun animations of my characters. I didn't know how to animate on a computer, so I used my phone and my iPad Pro to do all my animations. Mostly my iPad Pro. I used my phone to animate whenever I was bored and only had my phone on me. Anyways, the point is, I loved FlipaClip as an animation software. It was easy to grasp and had the capability to do some pretty good animations. And like most art and animation softwares, FlipaClip had premium features. Features such as saving animations as PNGs, removing the FlipaClip watermark, customizing the canvas size, customizing the grid settings, adding your own audios, customizing onion settings, adding longer videos, adding more layers, removing ads, and backing up projects into shareable files. If I missed any features, let me know. These were all the features you'd have to purchase, although the way FlipaClip went about doing this was pretty fair, in my opinion. FlipaClip Premium was a one-time purchase, where you could buy all the features for $9.99, or you had the option to select individual features for $1 to $3, just depending on what the features were. Also, these prices are what I remember, so if you don't live in Canada, I don't know what the prices were in other countries. Anyways, I had purchased the no ads feature, the more layers feature, and the no watermark feature. First one because I didn't like being interrupted by ads when animating, although I could have just turned my iPad on airplane mode. I was young and didn't know the power of using airplane mode on my device. Second one because the 3 layers maximum wasn't nearly enough for me, and with the more layers feature, you could have up to 10 layers. Taking a look at some of my past projects, I really did need more layers when animating my projects, so I feel like that purchase was definitely worth it. And the third one because I didn't like having the dumb FlipaClip watermark on my animations, even though it's honestly kind of a flex telling people you animated in FlipaClip, since it's not really a top-tier animation software. The reason I went over FlipaClip Premium and its features is because it was taken away. Recently, FlipaClip changed from a FlipaClip Premium to FlipaClip Plus, which is a monthly/yearly subscription service. $29.99 a year or $6.99 a month. Obviously, getting the better deal if you commit to the yearly purchase plan, like most subscription services offer. It's literally just FlipaClip Premium, but with some new brush options and other features. And you have to pay for it every single month or every single year. Whereas before, as I said, you could just buy Premium and have the features forever. And revisiting FlipaClip in 2025 and seeing this change in their payment method ruined FlipaClip for me. FlipaClip has never been the magnum opus software for animation. It's just an app for animation that can get the job done. With many animation softwares that can be costly, I'm looking at you, Toon Boom Harmony. FlipaClip was a software with a price that was relatively fair for the kind of animation software you got in return. It wasn't anything spectacular, it was just a decent animation software that allowed you to make some pretty good animations. And if you wanted to get some of the premium features, you could buy the necessary features, and you'd have them forever. Although, now that they have changed to the subscription plan, it's not that good of a software in my opinion. It's not doing anything that other animation softwares aren't, so I don't see why I wouldn't just animate on a different software, such as ToonSquid, for example, a new animation software that you pay for once and then have forever. Also, going back to my features I purchased on FlipaClip Premium, I know for a fact I bought no ads, although I get ads on FlipaClip now, so I guess I just wasted my money. Like, FlipaClip didn't honor my past purchase of no ads, and I feel like that's horrible on their side of things. If someone purchased a premium feature in the past, I feel like they should be allowed to keep that feature. I don't care if FlipaClip changed their paywall features into a purchase subscription. If someone purchased a feature that indicates they'll have it forever, they should be entitled to keep that feature. Yeah, it was probably like $1 or $2 for no ads back in 2018 or whenever I bought it, but it's the principle to me. I bought a feature of no ads in FlipaClip, so I should be able to keep that feature even in the current version of the app. And it's not just me that this happened to. There's a lot of other people that don't have their features they purchased with FlipaClip Premium. I personally never made an account on FlipaClip with my email because I didn't think it mattered if I did. I bought my features and I was able to use them without making an account for years. Although, from what I have seen, if you didn't have an account on FlipaClip, you were more likely to lose your features when FlipaClip Plus became a thing, which again, is just terrible. I will mention, I still have my More Layers feature and my No Watermark feature. I made sure to double check with a new animation project to ensure this was the case. So, I'm lucky, I guess. But I know this isn't the case for everyone else who purchased features with Premium. Out of all the features I bought back then, I'm definitely glad I got these two. I'm still a bit annoyed about the fact they took away my no ads feature, but it's not a big deal, as I can just turn on airplane mode. It's just the principle of the situation, I guess. Okay, now finally, let's say you're new to FlipaClip in this current day and era, and you don't want to purchase the FlipaClip Premium plan. What are your main restrictions/annoyances with using the software to animate? Firstly, having constant ads as you're animating. This might not seem like a big deal, having ads pop up here and there when animating, but trust me, it gets annoying. I went back to an old project of mine and started to color in scenes that I left uncolored, and I hated the ads. They'd pop up randomly when I was in the zone animating, or, well, coloring, I guess, and some ads would be difficult to close, sometimes even bringing me to a different site by accident when trying to click the X out of the ad. Again, I know I can do airplane mode, but if you can't do that for some reason, such as needing to use Wi-Fi for your project, then the ads really suck. Honestly, I would be okay with the ads if they gave them as you go into the software, or when you click on your project initially, but having them pop up as you're animating is super annoying. Secondly, having a limited amount of layers when animating, being the 3 layers maximum. If anyone has animated before, or even just drawn in an art program, you know 3 layers doesn't cut it for an animation project. I would always need a sketch layer, an audio/video layer, a background layer, a liner layer, shading layer, and sometimes an additional effect layer. Looking back at some of my old projects, I would always use at least 5 layers maximum, but most of the time, more than 5 layers. FlipaClip with 3 layers is almost unusable if you're wanting to animate a full animation with background and extra effects, which is a problem when you're making animation memes or map parts, as those kinds of projects typically need more layers. I guess if you're purely just wanting to animate for fun, and not worried about coloring, having backgrounds, or even using a sketch layer, then the 3 layers only restriction is fine. Thirdly, being forced to include the FlipaClip watermark on all your animations. For some people, this is an aesthetic travesty. That's personally why I purchased the no watermark feature back when FlipaClip Premium was an option. Although, some people might not mind having the watermark on their animations. Fourth, not being able to use onion skin for more than 1 frame before and 0 frames after. In animation, it's really important to see your drawing in the frames before and after, especially if you animate using keyframes, which are doing the main poses for your animation, and then going in between those keyframes to animate the in-between frames. This is really annoying to work around in FlipaClip. While it's technically possible with a bunch of copy and pasting and deleting of frames before and after, it's not an easy process, and it's definitely not worth it in my opinion, as animation is already time-consuming as it is. Lastly, a lot of newer features are hidden behind a paywall, such as a bunch of the new brush options or the new AI tools. But that's just it, these are new features, and I'm mostly comparing a lot of the changes to the previous FlipaClip Premium, so therefore, these new features being locked behind a paywall aren't that big of a deal. If anything, at least it adds something new to the new subscription service of FlipaClip, although more brush options and AI tools doesn't really make much of a difference to me. Those are the restrictions/annoyances to using FlipaClip as a free software. If it sounds good to you, then I don't see why you wouldn't use it. Although if it sounds bad, then I'd recommend other animation softwares, as there are a lot of other contenders these days. Lastly, I want to share some personal tips with using FlipaClip for free. This doesn't really help much, but I thought I'd include it anyways. First, turn on airplane mode to get rid of the annoying ads as you're animating, although when I tried doing this to test it out, somehow I still got an ad. I don't know if I didn't wait long enough on airplane mode, but I was sort of confused on how that happened. It was a photo ad, and I don't know how the photo ads work compared to the video ones. Nonetheless, it was an ad, which again, I shouldn't even be getting ads in the first place. I paid for that feature with FlipaClip Premium. Next, draw your backgrounds in other softwares and import them into FlipaClip as photos. This will allow you to create good backgrounds with the limited amount of brush tools. Honestly, I did this even before FlipaClip became a subscription service. It's never been good for creating nice backgrounds, so it's just a good tip for anyone who doesn't know to do it already. Last tip is to sort of bypass the 3-layer only restriction. I imagine you could animate the sketch, background, and line art in one project, even potentially deleting the sketch layer when you are done with it to add another potential layer to your project. Then you could save your animation project to your device and import it as a video file into another project in FlipaClip. Then have an additional 2 more layers of choice, which could be the shading or extra effect layers you could do over top. Although I'm not sure if everyone can add videos, it seems to work for me though. And if you're wanting to add audio to your animation project, you could watch a video ad instead of buying FlipaClip Plus. At least I have that option to do that. So if you don't have that option, I don't think you can add audio without paying, which kinda sucks. Anyways, that's it for this video on revisiting FlipaClip in 2025. Those are my personal takes on the recent changes to FlipaClip, and my experience with the animation software, and some additional tips. But please let me know how you feel about the swap from FlipaClip Premium to FlipaClip Plus. Also, if you watched all the way through this video, please consider subscribing or liking my video. It really helps my channel, so I'd appreciate it a lot. It's been Leamon Puppy, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time.